Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I wonder if it has captions.
I found the translations, so we will check them out. Hey, that's London. Krishna. His vocal color is sick.
That's fire.
Wow, what the fuck? A lot of the
fire.
Indian hip hop that we've been listening to lately, because a lot of the stuff I guess requested on stream, I gotta tell you, it's low key garbage.
Sometimes it's really garbage.
Yeah, this
Sometimes
slapped.
I'm like, what a way to kill the mood.
Yeah, because I think sometimes time and a place. It would be interesting to see how these boys perform live, because I think obviously India does have really capable musicians.
Find him live. Find RAFTAAR
So it would be
live.
interesting what their shows would look
What
like.
does he because he sounds so good on studio, okay?
Yeah.
The way that they equalize his vocals are so freaking indulgent.
Like what would a live show look like for something like this, you know?
RAFTAAR.
Just DJ based? I think it's just DJ based.
This has a
And
battle.
dancers, I think.
This has
Security.
a battle feel.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Seeing drill be played in India and
It
people
is
loving
it's
it
mad.
like that.
It's mad.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's very.
Song. It's
I think it's very.
song in studio. It's hard.
I think it's very similar to how like a lot of hip hop shows do off, or sort of worldwide. They bring out their own DJs, they play the track, and then sometimes the rappers utilize a ton of the track, or sometimes they do go out there raw. I do like it a lot when rappers sort of get to that level, because you do have to essentially get to a specific level where the expenses of the show.
Correct.
You
sell itself.
Yeah, you do have a bit more leverage and a bit more flexibility on the budget to increase such things and bring musicians in. Yeah. I don't think it's as expensive as a lot of these rappers would lead you to believe, because none of them ever do it.
But this is more reliable.
But when Jay-Z brings out his musicians,
it's a different league.
Chris Brown does
It's a
so.
different league. It's a different league.
It's fucking unbelievable, you know.
Agree. Yeah, because I want to hear him.
It's a Moscow.
He sounds like that. Oh no, he doesn't. It's close enough though, especially for rap. Yeah, it's pretty close.
It does sound
pretty
like
damn close.
That's sick. He reminds me of Pop Smoke,
He
didn't
does.
he?
I was gonna say that. He reminds me a little bit of like Pop Smoke.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, cool, bro.
This song was
Cool.
immensely requested. It was one of the hardest songs to try and find lyrics in English, because a lot of the references that they end up doing are like,
Cultural references very much.
yeah, like even Genius tried to do some shit here, but it's all romanized. And then they explain, what's going on. RAAT is like pressing R's in recording. Baki Kahin Bina RAAT is the only studio where R can be pressed. No one can oppress him.
Nice, RAFTAAR.
Exactly. To the R to the K to the K. KK means Kalamkar, and also Kashmir, as in Krishna. This reference here, talking about Ankit Khanna. And also he meant his people are like AKs, like weapons.
Like a weapon.
It's really interesting, obviously, to see all this stuff here, because a lot of fans actually end up sending a lot of the feedback, because, it's not like Genius is an Indian-based company. Krishna will teach a lesson to the session, a classroom, because they are weak in studies. That's why he was like a teacher lesson, like a mujhe weak he section.
Nice.
And you gotta understand as well, like, even though yes, rap is also one of the things we review the least. One, because of course we don't speak Hindi or Punjabi or any language where the rappers are speaking from. But phonetically speaking, and just from a auditory perspective, like Hindi or Punjabi per se, do have a huge advantage. Most South Asian languages actually have a bit of an advantage when it comes to rap, especially when you see the pronunciation of things like basically that phrase I just said, mujhe se. That's so curious.
This is multisyllabic, so you have more than one syllable to fill out the same bar space. So in terms of like musical theory, it makes so much sense for Hindi to be a rapped
Also, like
language.
Dabata, that B shouldn't have another syllabic space there, but it does.
Correct.
It's unbelievable. Obviously, just the pros and cons of different languages, blah blah, and you're making the most out of it. So it is very curious to the ear on why, for example,
It's stimulating.
drill somehow sounds even better, and then the fuckers even mix it with English, don't they? So then they're like get into infinity stones in.
Well, if you pay attention to the UK drill, you have a very specific
I think so, anyway.
syllabic nature to fill out the bar, which means in English it tends to be quite empty.
Right.
There's not enough consonants that make a syllable like they do in Hindi. Like you have consonants that make a specific syllable in itself. So you have more polyrhythmic ability, just naturally in the way the language is presented.
It actually so UK drill originates in Brixton, but it starts slightly later than where it began in the US, because it began actually. I mean, there's like New York drill, which is like really popular, but actually originated in Chicago. It was called Chicago drill music, and then I guess South London a few years later, in Brixton especially, which is really South London. They started with their own version of drill, and now look at that.
Yeah, it becomes so popular in terms of like
in the UK.
Yeah,
very,
in the UK.
very popular. But now look at it, like India, South Korea, Japan. Now everyone has drill.
everywhere, yeah.
It's unbelievable.